Are you looking for a nice hearty bowl of soup now that fall is approaching? Well, I have just what you're looking for with my chicken pesto soup. It is only 1 bite per serving, and before I drop this, I'm going to tell you that it's coming up next. Hello and welcome to my kitchen. My name is Roy. I am a home cook and amateur baker, and I am here on this channel sharing recipes that have helped me to lose over 125 pounds, whether those recipes are mine or someone else's. Today's recipe is one of mine, and it is for a nice warm soup as we head into fall. It's for a light and easy chicken pesto soup. It's a very easy soup to come together, not a lot of fuss. If you've never made a soup before, this is probably the soup for you to try because it's very easy. So let me go over the ingredients quickly. The star of the show, I have 1.5 pounds of chicken breast. You don't have to cut it, you're going to cook it just like that, and then we will shred it after. But I'll be showing you all of that. But don't worry about cutting it up. We have 6 cups of chicken broth. I have 4 cups that came from a container. And then the other 2 cups, I like to use this Better Than Bouillon. I'm not sponsored by them at all, but I really enjoy the ease of making my own chicken broth, and the flavors are really good. So I do enjoy using this. It's very nice to have on hand in case, I forgot to get chicken stock at the store. Just some water and some Better Than Bouillon and you're all set. And they have a lot of varieties. They have like a garlic, a beef, I think a mushroom, a few others. So I do enjoy them. Again, I'm not sponsored by them, but this is a good product to keep an eye out for if you like making soups. You can even throw this into dinners, into gravies, anything you want to flavor a little bit. Vegetables, you could throw a little bit into vegetables. I've done that. Anyway, I'm not sponsored. Why am I going on? That is it for the bouillon. Move aside, sir. We have some spinach. Now, the recipe calls for baby spinach because I prefer those small little leaves. When I went to Aldi today, they did not have baby spinach, so I got regular spinach, but I am going to cut it up a little bit. I'm not going to chop it finely. I'm just going to cut it into smaller bits because I don't like those big chunks of spinach. I don't know why. I don't know. So we're only going to need 3 ounces of that. The recipe says 2 cups packed. It's just easier for me to weigh out 3 ounces. I have 2 15-ounce cans of cannellini beans. It calls for white beans or cannellini beans, but if you have black beans, if you have kidney beans, use what you have. You don't have to use white beans just because that's what I'm using or that's what I put in the recipe. I might change it up sometimes too, so don't feel bad about not getting the exact right item. Use what you have, use what you like. If you don't like beans, replace it with corn. We have a 1/4 cup of chopped basil. So you want to chop up the basil first and put it in. This was almost a full one of those little plastic packages that you can get at the supermarket. Almost a full one of those. So if you get one of those little packages, that should be plenty for this recipe. There is 16 grams of grated Parmesan. Now, when I originally did the recipe, I was doing it through the recipe builder. And I was putting in grated Parmesan, and it was coming up, I think, with the stuff that's ground in the package. Because using fresh, as I prefer to do, whoa. Just can't trust myself. I'll put this down. But using fresh as I prefer to do, you can get 16 grams of that, which is a little over 3 tablespoons if you don't pack it in. And you get a little more, it's the same bites, same blue points. So I think when I first initially put it into the recipe builder, it was coming up with the canned stuff, which I don't use. If you do, just make sure you input that into the recipe builder to get the correct bites or points. And the last bit we have is 1 tablespoon of olive oil, and we have some salt and pepper to taste. So let me get this started. I have my big pan over here. So what we're going to do first is open up the tongs. Put our chicken breasts right into the pan. Slippery little guy. And then we are just going to cover them with the chicken broth. And I still have the spoon in here just in case some of the better than bouillon settle at the bottom, which it can sometimes do. Nope, it's good. All right, so let me get this out of my way. All right, so now we are going to bring this to a boil over medium-high heat. Once it comes to a boil, we're going to turn it down to a medium-low and let it simmer for about 10 to 15 minutes until the chicken is cooked through. So once that happens, I'll come back and show you our next steps. Okay, so while the chicken is cooking, I'm going to measure out my 3 ounces of spinach. And remember, it's going to look like a lot, but spinach wilts down to very little. Yeah, close enough. Okay, so, and like I said, you don't have to measure, you can just cram you don't have to weigh it. You can just cram it all into 2 cups. You want it fully packed in there. And like I said, I'm not fond of big pieces of spinach, so I'm just going to roughly chop through here to make it a little more baby spinach sized. And that looks pretty good. Okay, let me check the temperature of this chicken breast and see where we're at. It's around 151. I had cut them in half to check the center earlier, and they were still very pink. 151, I think I will shred it up anyways because it's going to go back into the pan and cook, so it'll cook a lot quicker. So let me take that out, shred it up, and we will move on. So we're just going to pull this apart like this into little shreds. Now you could, if you wanted to, chop these up rather than shred them. I just like the texture of the shreds. This is just the way I like to do it. And it doesn't help when my hands are all wonky. I'm hoping I'm not getting too much scraping noise from the forks on the camera. So what I'm going to do, so you don't have to hear me clink, 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 is I'm going to shred this up and then I'll be right back. All right, so I have the chicken all shredded up here. Nice big chunks. Now, what I'm going to have to do is take this foam, whatever, when you boil chicken, these foam or little bits will come off. You want to get those out of the pan before we add everything else back in. All right, so what I'm going to do instead, I got out another smaller pan and a bigger sieve, and I'm just going to go this way. And get rid of that. I will finish this off in the smaller pan. But you can see all of the gunk that was left behind just from boiling the chicken. It's not anything bad or dangerous. It's just kind of stuff that you don't want to see in your soup. So, and this is on a medium. Now I'm going to put the chicken back in because there was a little bit of pink, really not as much as I thought, considering that the thermometer said 151. It wasn't really that pink. But I'm going to put it in and let it cook for a couple of minutes before I add in the rest of the items, because those cook very quickly. All right, so the chicken seems to have cooked through nicely. And like I was saying, this is a very hearty soup. It's not a lot of broth, but if you prefer having more broth in your soup, then you go right ahead and add more broth. But this is like a very hearty, thick soup. Not thick as in stew, but as in full of things, such as the white beans, which I just threw in there. And now I'm going to add in the spinach and the basil, and hopefully get everything in the pot. So, as I said, and as you probably know, spinach wilts down quite a bit. So it won't be as big of a pile as it looked when I just put it in. So now you're just going to cook this for about 2 to 3 minutes until the spinach and the basil wilt, and you can smell the basil coming off of this, which the reason this is called chicken pesto soup is because of the basil and the olive oil. There are no pine nuts, which is typical in a pesto, but you get that hint of that flavor. So it's not going to be precisely like a pesto. It's just the flavors. It's reminiscent of a pesto. So, like I've said before, don't deny something just because it's not pesto. It's not whatever the original is. Just make sure you like this and enjoy this. And I really think you will. Okay, so this is going to go for about 2 more minutes, and then I'll be back to finish it up. Okay, so it has been 2 to 3 minutes. The basil and spinach is nicely softened up. Last step, add in the Parmesan cheese and the olive oil. It's just 1 tablespoon of olive oil that gets dispersed throughout the whole thing. And these 2 ingredients are the only ones that have bites or points to them. So you're just going to stir that through. And it's just going to cook in the heat. You don't have to keep cooking it further from here. But what I do have to do, put that there, turn this off and let me taste it for seasoning. Actually perfect. I don't need any salt. Maybe a little pepper, because Paul does like pepper. Okay, so that is it. That is the light and easy chicken pesto soup. Now this is 6 servings. Each serving is going to be 1 Better Balanced Bite or 1 Blue Point if you're on WW. If you are following calories, this one serving of this is going to be 353 calories. The fat is going to be 7.3 grams. The carbs are going to be 24.9 grams. And the protein is going to be 45.6 grams for one serving. There you have it, the first soup of the fall, and I hope you will give this a try. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and why haven't you? Come on, look what you're getting. Also, hit your notification bell for the next time I upload any sort of video, just so that you are alerted when they are uploaded. Also, if you know anyone who's on a weight loss journey who might like this recipe or any of my recipes, please feel free to share them on social media or however you share them. And speaking of social media, you can follow me over on Instagram. I will leave my handle here, as well as the 2 Facebook groups that I am an admin on. One is my own, which is Recipes with Roy, and I will show you the icon here. And the other is one that I co-admin with Jennifer Lynn from the Jennifer Lynn channel and Bree Coleman from Balancing Life with Bree. We are the co-admins on Finding Our Way, WEIGH, and I will leave that icon here as well. So there you have it, light and easy chicken pesto soup. I hope you will give it a try, because that's exactly what I'm going to do once my jaw loosens up. So until next time, bye.